Hello, students. My new world history class for this spring. My name is Dr. Lewis, Dr. Tracy Lewis. When you're emailing me, keep in mind there are 3 Tracy Lewises at Tulsa Community College, and the 3 of us are professors. So I got quite a few emails over the past several years for other Tracy Lewises. So be sure that you pay attention to my email, which is tracy.lewis3 at tulsacc.edu. So welcome to my world history class. I have unlocked the Pearson Revel classroom for you, so you can set up your account. Some of you may have already done that. I unlocked it yesterday on Sunday. Then you can start browsing through and reading your textbook. Let's see a few things that I wanted to point out. This video I'm recording it using Google Classroom. I could record, the meetings for those of you who might be absent. So I'm electing to use Google Meet. Next week in class on Mondays, I will introduce you to Packback, and it will be worth 30% of your grade, so don't opt out of it. It's a required part of the course, and you should get an invite soon. I've scheduled for Packback to send you an invite, and once you have it, then you go into the online community. The online community will consist solely of your classmates and myself. You can create your own avatar to use, and it's a wonderful tool. Like I said, I'll walk you through it next Monday. We're not going to work in it this week, but next Monday I will introduce it to you and walk you through it. I want to tell you a little bit about this textbook that we're using. I have a hard copy. Yes, you will have the online version of this textbook, The Humanities by Henry Sayre. I just absolutely adore. If you can adore a class book, I guess I could. I love this textbook because it is unique. It's unique in that it shows us in each chapter what is going on around the world at the same time. And so our first chapter will be focused on the Paleolithic era and Neolithic era. And like I said, it shows us what's going on at the same time in different parts of the world. So if you can imagine that, for example, like during the medieval times, when we get to those chapters, the stories will the chapter will include, what was happening over here in Europe during the medieval times? What was happening in Africa during medieval times? What was happening in Asia during medieval times? During this same time period, what was happening? And I love that because then it shows similar rituals and practices, socially, agriculturally, spiritually, politically. It shows these different practices in different cultures throughout the world. And keep this in mind as you read the chapter. And I tend to point it out repeatedly because that's what I love about the book is you're in this time period and you say, okay, I wonder what you may have said that, to yourself. I wonder what was happening in this part of the world during this time. If you're watching a period piece or you're maybe doing a research project, you think, I wonder what was going on over here, what was going on over here. And that's what's unique about this textbook. And I've used it for a couple years now, and I absolutely love it. So I don't expect you to love it, but if you do, then that's a fringe benefit. Now, see, some other things that we're going to see in this textbook is how these same cultures have practices and or beliefs that make them unique, powerful, and or more advanced than other cultures or human beings. So we also see the uniqueness of different cultures in this textbook. So now I'm going to stop and segue and tell you a little bit about myself. I am, let's see, at the World History or a World History Humanities professor at Tulsa Community College. I was an English professor when I first started at TCC in 2007. Yes, I've been at TCC for almost 13 years. Well, actually 12, because I took a year off and then came back. But I absolutely love it. I love TCC. I consider myself a history nerd, an English nerd. I teach at a high school also full-time. I'm actually in my high school classroom right now. I teach United States history and I teach English literature. And I've taught that for years at this high school, 5 years, and other schools before. In graduate school, I actually taught Greek, the language, and I love languages. I love because when you learn a language, you learn the history of a people, and I am history. History, is me. I say that not to say that I know everything there is to know in terms of history, and I may remember events, but not particularly dates, so don't try and quiz me. But I say that in that I love, history, because history, the past informs our present, and our present helps us prepare for the future or plan our future. And that's how I look at it, is we can look back at things in the past, and it's created a situation that is happening today, either in our lives or socially or economically, politically. And then that helps us prepare and plan for the future. What don't we want to do? How can we keep that from happening again? Or on the positive, what do we want to continue to do? What do we need to continue to do? How can that help? How can we keep, or how can we make sure that we continue to do that so that, the future is bright and not dim or dismal? Some more things, about myself is I am not an Oklahoman. You may have picked that up by the way that I speak. And I grew up in LA, Los Angeles, specifically South Central Los Angeles, which was inner city. And I wasn't born there. I was born in a little town in West Virginia, but I was sent to live in Los Angeles when I was 12 years old by my mother. So I was raised in LA by my cousins. My mom moved out there and moved across town in Inglewood. If anyone knows California or South Los Angeles, Inglewood's just about 5 miles down the road from South Central. And so I spent my time going back and forth. But yeah, most people don't expect me to say, South Central or LA, I guess, when they say, where are you from? But those are my roots. And I'm a West Virginia little kid, but I'm an LA girl. I'm a military veteran. I was in the United States Air Force for several years, and I loved every single day of it. So I'm very, very pro military. I come from a military family. So if that's your background, we'll have that in common. But like I said, I teach high school history and high school English literature. I see that quite a few of you are concurrent enrollment students, and I know what that's like. I used to do concurrent enrollment here, at the high school for a couple years. So yes, and we'll have that in common. And maybe we'll find some other things that we have in common. We'll go over the syllabus I emailed. So if that's your background, we'll have that in common. But like I said, I teach high school history and high school English literature. I see that quite a few of you are concurrent enrollment students, and I know what that's like. I used to do concurrent enrollment here, at the high school for a couple years. So yes, and we'll have that in common. And maybe we'll find some other things that we have in common. We'll go over the syllabus. And we'll go over that syllabus on Monday when we actually have our face-to-face. In that syllabus are specific step-by-step directions on how to set up your Pearson Revel classroom. I received those via email from the Pearson Revel rep last week. So I copied and pasted what she sent me into that syllabus. And I even clicked on the links to make sure that those links work. There's a support number in there. If you have a problem with your Pearson Revel, it's more expedient if you contact them, because during the day, weekdays, I'm pretty busy, here at the high school, but I do tend to check my email at lunchtime. So if you have an emergency, I may not be able to get to you as quick as the Pearson folks. There are also some other helpful numbers in the syllabus for you, like our tech support at TCC. Every single time I've called tech support, every single time I've called for Blackboard support, any kind of support at TCC, I always get right through, and they are always very responsive, very quick to respond. So if that's not the case with you, if you have an issue with Blackboard or some other tech issue, then shoot me an email and I will follow up for you, and hopefully we can get them to respond. There are some other tips that I put in the syllabus in terms of tutoring. There are a couple sources in the syllabus that I mentioned for you in case you get to a point in any of your courses. I don't know if you'll necessarily need it for mine. If I was teaching English literature, you would, but this is world history, and I don't hold you to the same standard that I do my English literature students. However, we'll go over my expectations in terms of writing, which is where PackBet comes in. And like I said, we'll walk through that together on Monday, and I'll show you all of the support and comment more on that come Monday. So there's a little background on me, and I'll take this video and I'll post the link, in Blackboard, but it will also be here in the Google Classroom that I set up for all of you, all of my TCC World History students this semester. This is your classroom. I'll post videos here, and I think I'll post this video under faculty profile in Blackboard. That's where it will be, because I've just told you a little bit about myself, and herein is my profile. But yes, I've been teaching for 22 years now, and I love it. I'm also a writer. I have several books that are out on Amazon, mostly social commentary. I jump genres. I don't stay in one genre. I've tried, but it just isn't possible for me. And some other things may come up, but I hope you enjoy the class. I love it. Students have loved it in the past, so we shall see. Anyway, that's the video. I think I've gone on long enough. It's an introductory video, so don't have to keep going on and on and on. So I look forward to seeing you all in class and getting to meet you in person. I've seen your names, but now I get to put the faces to the names.